And we are live. Hi, welcome back to Uncanny Adventures.
Hello.
Hello. We're playing some Call of Cthulhu tonight, Beneath the Burning Sun. One of our adventures in the Old West. Welcome, welcome. So, a lot's happened in the town of Shade. There was a medicine show. It probably didn't go off as planned by the owner of the cart, the medicine man. There was a bank robbery, and a young man of about 18 years old found himself at the wrong end of the Marshal and Baxter's firearms. Um, and he's now in the doctor's office in pretty bad shape.
Give
And
him a chance. I just want the world to know that.
you did give him a chance, and he's alive currently, as far as you know, so he may yet have another chance. Um, and the party joined a posse of various townsfolk, including the town's marshal, the school teacher, George Martin, the one of the cattle ranch owners, and the leader of a vigilante group, and also an unwilling member, the one half of the general store's owners. Poor Jake Parker. He'd rather be anywhere but in a posse. But this is where he finds himself. So, I'm going to let everybody go around and reintroduce themselves as we're coming back into the town of Shade after chasing the bank robbers into the hills and discovering at one of the local farms a rather gruesome sight. Uh, Another crime has been committed. The group has learned a little more about what they might be up against, and now they have to figure out a little more about what they're going to do. So let's go around and say hello, and we're going to start with Theater Nerd.
Hi, my name's Theater Nerd. I've had a long day today. I've already done 3 hours of GMing, which isn't my normal thing. I usually get a break in the afternoons on Call of Cthulhu Day. Um, but I'm really happy to be here.
Excellent. And how about Ray?
Hello. I also had a long day, but we won't get into that. Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
Ray's done. Anarch Dovey, how about you?
Yeah, hello, I'm Arakshravi or Taru, whichever one you choose to call me. And
You have a long day. That I feel like that's the theme for our introductions today.
uh, well, not really, but I did. I did um, trip, and when I was coming upstairs, I am
Oof.
on I'm on a top floor of an apartment complex.
Owie.
Ouch.
Yeah, and
You okay?
yeah, I'm fine. I just hit a nerve on my what is the word?
Your shin?
Uh,
Elbow?
no, no, the
Soul?
knee,
Oh.
and yeah,
Ouch.
and I will be playing Baxter, the battle strategist.
Excellent. And welcome back, Joanna.
Hi, I'm Joanna. I'm alive. I had a nap today.
I'm jealous.
I'm jealous.
And I will be playing Sister Michal, the up until now for the past 2 sessions really, really quiet woman of God.
Sister
That's
Michal
gonna change.
Sister Michal has been observing and has been taking mental notes about things and getting your thoughts in order.
Yeah.
And we will look forward to knowing what those thoughts are. So as we come back in, you are riding back into town. You sort of come up over a rise and you see the town of Shade sort of down in the little valley where it sits. Some of the houses and businesses have started lighting the lights as it's starting to get toward dusk. And you are riding with the rest of the posse, which includes Marshal Hosper Otis is riding out in front with George Martin, sort of keeping at the same sort of distance as him. Seems like they're sort of jockeying for who's actually in charge here. the school teacher, Henry Potts, who's a younger gentleman, kind of well-dressed. He's kind of riding in the middle, sort of keeping Jake Parker company. He's got the injured outlaw on his horse with him, and he's sort of riding him in, but trying to take it easy so that he doesn't get further injured. And then there's George Martin's 2 ranch hands, Cliff Brenner and Hoss Williams, who are along with you all as you ride back into the town of Shade. You've left behind the Hobbs farm, which was the site of this grisly murder. The Hobbs family and their ranch hands were all killed and left in the barn by the bank robbers, who have ridden somewhere further into the hills. And the information you have received is that apparently they're holed up somewhere in an old Spanish fort deeper into the mountains. So, what's going on as you ride back into town? What's the discussion and the conversation like here?
I'm bringing up the rear, but the urge to just ride out in front of both of the men in the front is very high right now. But I won't. I'll refrain. I probably look over my shoulder every once in a while.
Roll for it.
You don't know how I'm so sick of George Martin, or as I like to affectionately think of him as George R.R. Martin.
He's now shrunk a few inches in height and a little bit more portly around the belly with a funny hat and a beard.
I do want to...
When's the book coming out, George?
Can't talk about that. I have other things.
To ride up, because you said, like, Parker's in the middle of the group, right?
Yes. Parker is riding in the middle with Henry Potts, the school teacher.
I would like to check on him and make sure he's okay.
You, as you ride up, you notice he is side-eyeing the outlaw on the back of Potts' horse, like, kind of giving him, like, an up and down once-over, because the gentleman looks a lot worse for wear than anybody that Mr. Parker probably has seen with his own 2 eyes. He's just sort of like,
"You okay, Mr. Parker?"
Well, I'm doing just fine. What?
We should probably come up with a story to tell your wife about how now you're a man. So that you don't have to go into another one of these posses. It's for your benefit.
Well, I mean, we actually haven't brought back all of the, those responsible, and I think Ethel's gonna make me want to keep going until I finish the job. She has this thing about me actually completing things that I start.
I'm trying to get you out of this. I mean, if you want to come along, I'll keep you as a lookout again, I guess. We just gotta tell her how you saved the man, and you made sure he was safe, and that's why you're riding by him.
Roll a persuasion check to see if you can persuade him. You're gonna need a hard success on this because you've seen Ethel and you've seen their relationship.
So close. I rolled a 16.
Oh boy.
Which is a success.
Did you roll?
I'm not very persuasive, I get it.
Yeah. So he sort of gives you a look and he's like, well, I mean, we can try, but if Ethel says I gotta go, I gotta go. I gotta live with her.
I mean, I get it. But that's why I want to try to at least attempt to convince her that you've been made more of a man from this experience. So I'm going to tell her a story about how you saved our friend here. And she'll gesture to the man on the back of the teacher's horse. And how you're really the hero.
Yep, I'll go along with whatever you want to say. I don't want you to be mad at me either.
Oh, I won't be mad. If you don't want me to do this, I don't have to, but you don't seem like the type who's really enjoying themselves doing this.
I'm not much for the out of doors and horse riding and all of
If
that.
I got you a book on horse riding or the outdoors, you'd read it, wouldn't you?
Oh, I've read quite a few actually. I mean, I like those dime store novels about all of that, but I sort of like to live vicariously, if you know what I mean.
Exactly, which is why I think we should try something.
Okay, but if we get caught lying, you're gonna tell Ethel it was your idea.
Oh, of course, I'm only slightly intimidated by her, and I don't have to live with her, and I could leave town, so...
Oh, you're really lucky.
I mean... Oh yeah, you don't do the out-of-door thing. Never mind, I was gonna suggest if you're not happy, just go.
Oh,
but
no,
right after you.
I love Ethel very much. She's a wonderful woman. She just terrifies me.
I mean, I get it. Like I said, I'm slightly intimidated by her.
Just wait till you get to know her better.
Well, I'm gonna go back to the rear and make sure we aren't about to be ambushed or anything.
Oh no, is that something that could happen?
I mean, it's always something that could happen. Have you ever read about coyotes?
Oh yes, I have a book about local wildlife.
I don't think they would be so brazen, but in case they were, and there was a whole pack of them...
Are you saying like I'm the weak link and they might pick me off?
That thought didn't cross my mind, but now that you say it...
Oh,
Which is why we're keeping you in the middle, like they do with the babies and the injured ones.
Good pep talk.
That's fair. That's fair, Marshal.
I care about you. I don't want you getting hurt. There's already been enough death and bloodshed around here for a while.
Wait, who died?
Well, there was a
Several people.
The person
back
in front of the bank.
Wait, there were several people dead on the farm?
Sister, we were trying to protect him from that.
Do you really think that would be any good? You can't cover a child's eyes and hope that they learn to see.
I could sure as heck try. And I was doing a good time until you suddenly stopped observing and decided to open your mouth.
What can I
We're
say?
awfully quiet on the ride up here, by the way. You feeling okay?
Not in the slightest.
Well, at least you're honest with me. I can count on that.
God advises us to be honest.
Yeah, sometimes white lies are a thing that should happen, like what I've been doing too. Anyway.
What was the name of the guy? I forgot.
You talking about Parker?
Yeah, Parker. I was wondering.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any specialty weaponry at all in stock?
Well, we've got the firearms that, you saw. We got a couple more rifles and, some handguns and things like that. Usually special stuff we gotta order in. I mean, we got some shotguns and some pistols. Got ammunition for all those. We usually order in dynamite with all the trouble that we've had in Shade. We try not to keep too much on hand because, we don't want to get robbed for it. So we usually have people order it and it's a couple days out to get a bunch of it. So, I mean, but nothing like big bigger than that.
It has to be something we can get through that fort.
I don't know. I've never been that far into the mountains. I don't know exactly what it looks like. I mean, what if you took like that, if he's still alive, the one that robbed the bank, what if you like, maybe he could tell you what the inside of the fort looks like?
Somehow I get the feeling he's never been out there.
All right.
But that's not a bad idea. We can at least ask. I don't think he likes me much right now.
Why? You're pretty nice.
I think I shot him in the knee.
Oh.
He's probably crippled for the rest of forever.
Oh yeah, he'll probably be mad at you about that.
Now you're getting the hang of this honesty thing.
I mean, I'm not gonna say he didn't deserve it. Because he murdered someone.
Oh, who'd he murder?
Some lady who I'm sure I know in character that I can't think of her name out of it.
You know that she was one of the bank tellers. And, you know that you heard she was one of the Dooley sisters. You may not remember the first name exactly, but...
One of the Dooley sisters, the one that works at the bank.
Oh, they both work there. That's horrible.
Well, that was a completely unhelpful description. Good job, me. Well,
You know,
yeah, it got kind of messy in there.
you know, that bank's, even with all the issues we had with lawlessness in Shade, I think that's the first time that the bank itself's ever been robbed. Like, even attempted.
Well, that's interesting. Does that mean the father is super brazen?
Oh,
Or just stupid?
that Reverend Smythe?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, don't tell Ethel I said this, but he scares me more than she does.
I don't blame you on that one. I get the feeling he's all fire and brimstone and...
Did you ever have the pleasure of meeting him?
No, and right now, for his sake, I hope I don't meet him anytime soon.
Oh boy. Yeah, he's pretty intense. Like, real intense. And, when you get him going, like him sermonizing and all that good stuff, you just gotta kind of put your head down and hope he gets through it without getting too far gone.
So, I'll be honest with you, Mr. Parker.
Okay.
There were some bodies. Reverend Smythe did it.
Okay.
And we're figuring out what our next steps are.
Oh, all right. Well, is that why you had me stay with the horses and all that good stuff back at the farm?
Well, I kind of wanted to protect you from all of that. I didn't exactly know what we were going to find. Like, I'm not psychic or anything. Can't see the future.
I'll say I appreciate it, because if the rest of them looked worse off than this one, then I don't want to see him.
I mean, they were dead. He's at least breathing.
He'll
never talk again, but at least he's breathing.
I was gonna say he looks like his mouth's all kind of swollen and in really bad shape.
Yeah, they ripped part of his tongue out.
Oh, good. Hang on one second. And he sort of leans over the horse the other way, and kind of throws up a little bit off the side of the horse.
Yeah, see, you understand now why I tried to protect you, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, I mean no offense.
So what are we gonna do about them?
We're gonna go and get them.
Okay.
But we have to do it smart so we don't all end up dead.
All right. And as you kind of get to this point in the conversation, you've come into the town proper. You see, various townspeople sort of going about their evening business. So what do you all want to do? The marshal, Otis, looks around and he says, well, we probably don't want to ride out in the middle of the night again. We may have to wait till first light. But we should get this one. I should take this one over to the doctor's office and get him looked at. And George Martin sort of kind of interrupts and says, "He doesn't need a doctor. We're just gonna delve out justice to this fellow. You don't need to patch him up. We're just gonna send him off this mortal coil anyway."
Can I pull my gun out on him?
Sure.
I am so sick of Martin's shit that I'm gonna pull my gun and I'm gonna point him on him. He deserves justice, just like any of the rest of us. This is the vigilantism I was talking about that I do not tolerate. Do you want to try me?
As you pull your gun on George Martin and accost him verbally, the two ranch hands who work for him each pull out a handgun and point it back at you. And they're like, "We think you should lower that weapon."
You think I'm afraid of you?
Samuel draws his weapon.
Parker looks around and is like, oh no, what's going on?
I've been back 20 minutes and we're in a Mexican standoff.
Oh, this has been brewing for like an entire episode.
Marshal, cool down.
He's gonna kill someone who we don't even know if he's involved. As far as I know, he was just one of the Hobbs ranch hands or said something that pissed off Smythe. Right now, he's more valuable to us alive, so we should get him help so that we don't get blindsided by whatever the heck is up that mountain in that fort. I don't care what you do after that. No, that's a lie. I do care. But if he's guilty of something, then you should do it the right way. If I have to attempt to persuade them, I will attempt to persuade them. Or intimidate them.
So you want to try to intimidate these fellows?
No, I think I'm trying to persuade them to, like, just hold off on...
You were just throwing gun on them and started shouting at them. I think that's intimidation.
What would you say to try to, like, calm the situation as they seem very agitated?
I don't want any more death of anyone who hasn't committed a crime, which means these guys, and she'll lower her gun. She's not holstering them, but she lowers them to the ground. This guy is the best bit of information to what we have up that mountain. If you want to take your guys in the morning and get shot at and killed, I can't stop you. But right now, he is our best tip as to what we can expect up that mountain. I'd prefer he stay alive for our benefit, so we all can stay alive.
Martin sort of has his arms crossed. You notice that his right hand is kind of tucked into his jacket, like maybe he does have his hand on his revolver inside the jacket, but he hasn't drawn it. And he looks around at the group and he says, "In my opinion, we've probably gotten everything we can get out of this one. I mean, he's already told us where they're going. He's told us their numbers. I like the little one's idea," and he points at Jake, who's like, He's like, "I think that speaking to the young man who they had in the bank that they left as their scapegoat before we hang him as well might give us the rest of the information we require. And then, I mean, there's no reason to leave them in the jail cell. We string them up, and we head out north to get the rest of them. Nice, clean, easy."
Not everything is... She, like, rubs her hands with her guns. Not everything is nice, clean, and easy. If you actually gave a shit about the law, and not just what your opinion was, you'd understand that.
I'm a fair man. Why don't we do it this way? This group, there's a number of us here. Why don't we go around and everyone can cast their opinion, and the majority will rule. If the majority of you think that we should put these men in jail and let the slow process of the legal system handle them, fine. I can be appeased with that. But if the majority of us want to do a swift justice and take care of this, can you agree to the same?
Yes, but I won't like it. So hopefully I've talked some sense into people.
My
This
vote.
process.
Yeah, we know what your vote is, and we don't need to hear it. Again,
And we know
I'm not going to voice my opinion. I'm pretty sure I've made it loud and clear.
So we're 1 and 1. 1 for hanging them, 1 for arresting them. He looks around at his 2 ranch hands and he says, "Gentlemen," and they're like, "Hang him! Hang him!" So he smiles. He says, "That's 3.
If we don't follow the law, we're no better than the people we're after. And without due process, what's even the point? I'm for the marshal.
You've been quiet. Interesting. Interesting. All right." He looks at Sister Michal. "And your opinion?"
My opinion, Mr. Martin, is that wrath is a sin that you are far too plentiful in. And similarly, you have too much of pride in you. You are not God to judge whether there are those who deserve immediate death and immediate damnation. I cast my vote with the Marshal.
The sister doesn't actually need guns to shoot shots.
His eyes fall on Baxter. "And you?"
But the contrarian, I'm string him.
Say string him up?
String him up.
Martin sort of has this little slight smile across his lips. He's like, huh.
I'm doing the thing.
How close am I to him, just out of curiosity?
Well, you were kind of toward the back, but you were all sort of chatting with Parker, so you'd probably be a little
Well,
ways
we've
away.
dismounted our horses and whatever at this point, right?
I think you're actually all still on horseback having this out.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming.
I really just want to take the butt of my pistol and smash him in the face with it, but I'll guess I can't do that easily.
Wait, are you talking about Martin or Baxter?
Well, I have other... No, not Baxter. Martin. Guys, how about you, Marshal Otis?
He gives like a hard stare at Martin, and he says, well, we're putting him in the jail cell, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, look, we're tied again. Teacher, I forgot your name, sir.
It's Henry.
Yes, Henry. You get a vote. You went out there. You've heard both of our arguments. Clean and easy, or do it the right way.
Oh, I'm definitely a law-abiding individual, and he kind of looks between Martin and his ranch hands. I vote for letting Marshal Otis do his job. And Martin's eyes fall on Parker.
And you, Mr. Parker?
What
What do you believe?
Well, do I have...
A better question would be... Never mind, continue.
Well,
I'm not going there.
And remember, all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
Parker,
Yep.
do not listen to them. Vote with
Baxter.
your heart.
I
What do you believe in?
You get like a handkerchief balled up and thrown at the back of your head, Baxter. From
well,
the Marshal.
Do I have a few minutes to go talk to Ethel and get her opinion on this?
I mean, we need to
No,
know
not.
No, sir.
as
Oh.
possible, sir.
Hey, Parker,
Yeah?
you are a man.
Baxter, shut up.
Don't listen to anyone that anyone says.
Okay.
You have
Wait, why is he listening to you? Based on what you just said after I said shush.
you have your own opinions. Make up your own mind
Oh, okay.
and vote with your heart. What is your moral ground?
He looks from Martin to Sister Michal to Baxter to Marshall, back again, and
And he pees himself.
Nope. You see, for just a second, he's like, his eyes roll up in the back of his head, and he falls out of the saddle off onto the ground as he passes out from the stress of this situation. He lands in the dirt.
It looks like he's incapacitated and no longer able to make the decision, Martin.
Unfortunately, that does still leave us in the majority.
I guess we let the law do its job this time.
I suppose...
I'm going to get off my horse and see to Mr. Parker.
As you do, Martin's looking down at him, sort of chewing on his lip, and he's like, I suppose that means he abstains. Fine. I guess for now, we'll do it your way.
That is all I ask for right now. And I think you actually see the Marshal, right off pretty quickly. And she's actually going to go right off to the doctor's first. And she wants to see Julia.
Do you tell anybody where you're going?
No, but I also make it pretty obvious that I'm doing something if someone were to ask.
Going to see Julia, are you?
I don't think the sister was there to know my feelings for Julia.
The sister may just be very perceptive. I mean, you have to spend some time at the boarding house.
This is all Joanna being a shit disturber.
I could tell that was not the slow and calculated speech of the sister.
So if you ride off in the direction of the doctor's office, Henry says, I'm heading that way too. I'm gonna take our friend here to get checked out. And he sort of spurs his horse and follows after you, Marshall.
Yeah, I was about to be like, yeah, don't forget the guy that we just had an intense discussion about. Who needs to go to a doctor.
I was hoping to get there before he showed up, was my hope. But I guess not.
Is the...
Unless I really wanted to...
So the bank robber is still in a doctor's office, right?
As far as you know, he was being taken from the bank to the doctor's office because he was still living. He was stable at the time you left, but he was in pretty serious condition from the firefight.
Okay. Sister, could you also visit the doctor? We need the information from him, and I don't think he wants to see me, Marshall, or Samuel.
Well, probably, definitely Baxter and the Marshal.
Samuel also shot him, so yeah, he doesn't.
Yes,
want any of us.
Does rather leave me in a unique position to negotiate. I am going to first tend to Mr. Parker, return him home, have a slight discussion with his wife, and then I will have a conversation with the bank robber. Is that acceptable, Baxter?
Yes, that is good.
Wonderful.
Baxter will be going to the blacksmith's place.
Okay. Why doesn't Sister Michal roll me a first aid roll to check on our friend Mr. Parker?
Ooh, yippee! It's been a literal month since I've done this. I pressed the green dice, right?
No.
Yep, the other one.
Yes.
The purple
Wait,
dice.
No, hold on.
No, it is the green one.
So
I rolled the purple one.
Yes, roll the green one.
Okay.
I never remember. I just hit a button.
Wah.
Yikers.
Glad to be back.
You lean down and Mr. Parker he fainted, but when he went off the horse, as you kind of roll him over to look at it, it looks like he came down and hit his head
He's
pretty
dead.
good. No, he's not dead, but it looks like he hit his head pretty solidly on a rock, because there's a nice welt on his head, and he's got a little gash, and it's bleeding a little bit. So he is well and good unconscious at this moment. Just
Here, I just realized that making him pass out literally has ruined all plans to try to lie on his behalf.
I did roll a constitution roll for him to see if he would keep himself in the moment or if he would pass out from the strain of it. And he did not succeed on that roll.
No, I assumed as much.
All right.
Sister,
Change
you
of
want?
plans.
Would you rather me take him to the doctor and you speak to the wife, or?
Perhaps for the sake of expediency, we should just head to the doctor, and from there I can communicate with the prisoner.
Sure, I'll accompany you.
Thank you.
So currently we have Marshal, Samuel, and Sister Michal making their way to the doctor's office.
Yeah, everybody's going to the doctor.
Baxter, are you also going to the doctor's office?
I would say that I was going to.
Oh, the blacksmith.
Blacksmith.
All right. So, let's see.
Can I give Henry this look I want to be? I need a moment by myself, or can I just straight up tell him that?
You can certainly tell him that if you'd like to.
Yeah, I'm going to tell him. Just listen. I've got some loose ends I need to tie up with the doctor. Can I just have 5 minutes before you bring our new friend?
Got some things to tie up, do ya?
He sort of turns around in the saddle and takes a look at the gentleman to see.
Okay, 2 minutes.
Hold on, he's looking. He gives him a once over and he says, he's in rough shape, but I don't think he's gonna shuffle off the mortal coil in the next few minutes. So I'll get him some water and I'll get him down on the porch and get him ready to bring in. You can have a couple minutes then.
Thank you.
All right.
And she'll obviously not full out sprint her horse because that's a little desperate. But fast gallop towards the rest of the way to the doctor's office, and then I'm assuming there's a hitching post outside or wherever the nearest one. She'll hop off her horse and walk inside.
Okay. So when you enter, you find the doctor, Dr. Peaster. He looks up from where he is sort of checking in on the young fellow from the bank. And you can see off to the left, you can see Julia is sort of set up in another bed across the way. She's awake. She's bandaged up pretty good, but she doesn't seem so bad off for having been shot this morning.
How is she?
Do you ask him or
I'm asking the doctor specifically first in kind of a hushed tone.
Oh, hello. She's doing all right. The wound wasn't anything. It didn't do any damage to anything that can't heal up pretty well. I've bandaged it. I'm gonna need to make sure it's cleaned and redressed over the next week or two and just keep an eye on her, but barring any kind of infection or anything, I think that she'll be all right.
Cool. Can I go and speak to her?
Oh, of course. I'm sure she'd enjoy a visit. She's a bit restless being laid up in bed.
That girl works unbelievably hard, so I would imagine that that's a true statement.
Hmm.
She has her hat off, and she walks up to Julia. How's it going?
Oh, hi there. Oof, I'm all right.
I mean, I'm gonna guess you've been better.
I've been better. The doctor gave me just a little bit of laudanum to kind of pinch off the pain a bit. It was a bit sore, but I'm doing okay. How are you? My father told me that you and your friends went after the bank robbers.
Yeah, apparently the boy in the bank. Well, you may not. Well, you probably saw him, but he was left behind.
He's
Pretty
also
much
right
as
over
good as
there.
Yes, he's right there. No, he.
Oh yeah, duh.
They
Well,
did.
I was thinking robbery stuff. Anyway,
They did. They left him. They told him that they were gonna send one of them back with the horse for him, and he started to panic when they didn't come back.
I tried to give him a chance. I hope you don't hold it against me that I, blew apart his knee.
Oh,
Had to incapacitate him somehow.
I didn't realize you had, but he was a bit beside himself when he realized that his friends had abandoned him.
I tried to talk him out. I wanted to give him the opportunity.
I don't know that you could have. I think that in his panic he was ready to die or shoot his way out of the bank, whatever came first.
Yeah, well, I'm glad he didn't die, because he's got useful information for us. But hey, listen, enough about the kid.
Okay.
This is gonna probably be super forward, but God forbid something happens. I really like you. I literally thought the world was ending when I saw you bleeding on the floor.
I'm all right. I'm okay.
I mean, I know that now. I was afraid you were dead and there was nothing I could do, and I'm covered in blood again, and
she sort of reaches out and takes your hand, and she says, "Oh no, it's I'm made of tough stuff. A little bullet's only gonna lay me up for a little while. Please don't fret. I don't want you stressing out over me like that. I'll be fine. I'll be up and about before you know it. We can
Well, you better not do anything stupid and get out of the bed before the doctor tells you. It's okay. Because I know you work so unbelievably hard to help out your dad.
I mean, I'll get up if I won't get up too soon, but I mean, the doctor doesn't always know 100%, and if I'm feeling up to it, I might stretch my legs a little bit tomorrow.
I don't think you were practically dead. I just 5 hours ago.
She sort of pulls you over and says, sit down, and she kind of taps the edge of the bed.
I sit down on the bed.
She says, having been practically dead, as you put it, you only get one shot at this, the whole thing, and I plan to make it count. I
mean, I'm happy it was only practically and not actually.
Well, I don't plan to put myself in that position anytime soon, but these things happen, and we have to take the good stuff when it comes, because bad things like this can happen.
Can I kiss her at that? Please and thank you. Or
Sure.
at least attempt.
Sure, you can attempt.
I'll lean in.
Roll to smooch.
Why don't you roll me a charm with bonus dice?
Alphabetical order. Here goes nothing. Oh, it wasn't meant to be. It's very much not meant to be. At least not yet. I'm not giving up.
So
I don't have enough luck for it. Well, I technically do.
Do it.
I'm not going to use it for this.
Do it.
So what do you say, like, when that, do you sort of feel like maybe
I think I pull back and I will just kiss her gently on the hand because she reached out her hand and took my hand at some point, or did she let go?
No, she held onto your hand. So when you sort of pull back and you sort of kiss her on the hand, when you sort of look back up, she has kind of sat herself up in bed, and she gives you a kiss. As she sort of goes in for a kiss, and she gives you a kiss.
Okay, that's cool. I'll take it.
She rolls a hard success on a charm roll.
Yep. I don't think the room probably starts spinning, and I don't know what's going on other than the kiss. And I'm going to say that's probably the couple minutes. And
oh yeah, at that point the door to the doctor's office definitely swings open as Henry helps the gentleman into the room. At that moment, a big thud as he plants him in a chair, and he says, "Hey Doc, we got another one for you." And I would say that Samuel and Sister Michal are coming in right behind in that moment.
Yup. And I'm gonna try not to blush.
Are we interrupting anything?
Absolutely not. I don't know what you're talking about.
Julia looks past Marshall and says, "Yes, but it's fine." She just smiles at you. "Remember, you only live once."
Yeah, they didn't need... whatever, okay. Fine. Yes, you interrupted us. But it wasn't unexpected, at least not by my part.
Doctor says, "Don't mind me. I haven't been here the whole time."
Sadly, Doc, we have another one for you.
"I see that. What the hell befell this fellow?" Comes over and he sort of leans down and takes a closer look at him. Was he... What went through his hands and feet? Oh my god.
Yeah, that isn't the worst that's happening in this area. Also, we bring up what's his name? Who's passed out?
Jake Parker.
Jake Parker.
Oh my, what did... Oh, Mr. Parker, was he... that's quite the wound to his head.
Yes, he took a bit of a tumble.
I see.
After a bout of stress.
He is, rather high-strung. Alright. Bring this one, and he points at, the gentleman who is with you. His name is... Where's my note? So his name is... Jerry Hill. So he says, "I recognize him. He's a low-level outlaw these parts. He gets into some trouble here and there. Here, bring him in, put him in the bed back there." Oh my, he kind of like looks in his mouth. He's, "Oh.
Yeah, it's missing.
I see. Oh. Yes, we'll put him in the bed back there. I'm going to have to clean these wounds and bandage him up." And then, he
Marshall,
sort of...
do you have a pair of handcuffs? Can we... In case he tries to...
I probably grabbed a pair. I'll go get them off the horse. Keep an eye on him for a minute. And I think you hear, like, water out of the horse trough, and she washes her face and then grabs the handcuffs.
But do you really use water?
Yeah,
On
I
your
was about
face?
to ask.
I feel like she's gotten over it now. She
Have
stuck her
you?
hand out.
It's been the same day.
I thought this was the next day.
It's that day, like you woke up early AM with the nightmare and then you went back to bed. A lot's happened today.
I feel like it should have
Been a
Back
long
in
ass
4 days.
day.
So when you go for the water in the trough, you do have just a slight hesitation and maybe like a brief like flash to the nightmare, but the moment you've just had with Julia sort of like kind of pushes that out, and so you are able like to just kind of wash your face in the trough and kind of wash your hands.
I think
The
if
power
anyone
of
was
love.
passing, I think if anyone was passing by, I think she mumbles like, "You only live once," and then sticks her hand in the trough. That's how like Julia gets her through sticking her hand in the trough.
Nice.
And then she'll like take out like a handkerchief or a bandana and like dry off her face as best as she can, and then grabs the cuffs from the, because I'm assuming she probably had got a pair or two from the Marshal Otis.
Yeah, especially riding out with the posse, you'd have a few extra on hand because your intention is to bring back some of these outlaws.
Well, that was our hope. Yes.
All right.
And she'll bring a pair back in.
Okay, so meanwhile, while the rest of you are all at the doctor's office, Baxter, you have ridden back through town, and you're heading for the blacksmiths, which is sort of just about on the outskirts, close to where the medicine man's wagon is. And as you get close, you can hear the hammer clanging against metal inside. And when you dismount and tie your horse and sort of step inside, you see a probably 6'4", brown skin, sort of sweating by the fire, big muscle-bound fellow with his shirt kind of like rolled up, and you could just see his muscles, and he's just hard at work, like he's sort of making it looks like some kind of tools for one of the maybe farms or something, and he's sort of hard at work, kind of like bending the metal and sort of dipping it in, and steam rises, and then he takes it back over the flame and checks, and you see him hammering at it again and sort of trying to get it in the right shape as you enter the blacksmith shop.
I'm looking at his works and like for a short while, and I sir,
he has the hammer up, and he sort of, oh, one moment. He kind of dips the metal into the basin of water again. Steam rises off of it, and he sort of hangs it and puts the hammer, turns around, picks up a rag and sort of wipes his hands, walks over. What can I do for you?
yeah, I was working with the marshal, and we are heading towards the mountains. There's all the Spanish fort there. I am not sure if I can disclose much other than that. Trouble is, we need some way to get in there. There are some bandits hiding up there.
Okay.
Significant advantage point. Do you have anything that could help us break through such a fort?
And I don't know about breaking through. Are you talking like trying to bust through like the front doors of the place, or are you looking for more of like a way to sort of get through? Is it probably stone walls?
There are stone walls. Yes. Wait. Are the Spanish? Yeah, they are stone.
Okay.
And I was more looking into maybe you have some way of making some sort of defensive position, some sort of shield.
Oh, like something. So like, if you get shot at, you got some kind of defense in between you and the bullets.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably put something like that together. Or even are you going any chance you could take maybe like a wagon or something? Because we could maybe rig up a wagon with like a barrier, so if you stayed in the wagon and kind of hid behind it, you'd have some cover.
I'm going to have to ask Marshall about that.
Oh, by the way, my name is Samuel McCready, and you are?
My name is Baxter.
Nice to meet you.
Duff-Banford. Likewise. What are you working on there?
Oh, I got an order from one of the local farmers. They're looking for some new farming equipment and things like that to replace just some things that are a bit older. So just putting together a couple of things. Nothing in particular. I've got to do some horseshoes for a couple of horses tomorrow. I got an order, but things are a little slow right now.
Looking some action, right?
No, I mean what I don't do in regular business, I make up for at the card tables.
So you're not a dice person?
Not so much dice. I like my chances at a good game of poker. It's not about the cards. You got to read the people, and pretty good at
Game of mind.
What's
I like
that?
It's the game of mind.
Yep, that is indeed. You got to have a good head on your shoulders if you're gonna play cards to actually win. I know too many people who play and they try to bully at the table, but it takes a little bit of a fine little nuance to play that game the right way.
I like new games myself. I've been on a road.
Oh, you travel?
Hmm.
Anywhere interested?
I've been. Yeah, I come from the Wind Earth. And I travel with a sister. Not actual sister, but sister of God. And with a Marshal. And that. What was the Samuel's profession like? What kind of doctor was he?
Geologist.
Yeah, and a geologist.
Oh, I think I saw y'all ride into town. That's right. I was wondering who the newcomers might be. Well, that's interesting. That's nice. Good group. It's good to have company on the road. Keep an eye on your back. You never know what you're gonna run into out there. Also, it's good to have them in town. You never know what you're gonna run into around here. I've had to and he kind of cracks his fists. I've had to put down a couple of cheaters at the poker table every now and then. If I catch somebody cheating at cards, they get a nice knuckle right to the face. There's been a few black eyes and broken noses. You're freaking me out. That's my job. So, but yeah, if you want to figure out, I mean, if you need something that's, if you're not doing like a wagon, you want something that what, like you could carry like one person, but you could still use it to kind of protect yourself. have to see. Have to be. I mean, it would be. I'll have to do some calculations as far as like weight versus what I could accomplish as far as doing that, and then an easy way to kind of transport it and hold it.
Could you make a fist?
A fist? Yeah, sure. Makes a fist.
No, fist. I said fist.
A vest. Oh, a vest. I'm sorry. Like a metal vest?
Some sort of like compact thing that could stop a small round.
I mean, could take like
Poppycock.
I could take like a metal plate, and we could maybe punch some holes in it so it had a way to like kind of maybe hang around the back of your neck, and you could sort of put it underneath like your jacket or something, so someone wouldn't know you were wearing it. But then if they tried to shoot you in your main chest area, like a heart or a gut shot, they would be there, like kind of a metal shield. Baxter invents the bulletproof vest.
They were like making these kind of vests, like all like in England, and like they weren't common, but they were trying to make one.
Here's the thing, you'd be better gluing layers of linen together than using metal, because there's straight up a reason they stopped using plate armor when guns were created. Anyway, sorry to get all history nerd on you all.
Well, depending on distance, don't get hit point blank.
And that just feels
Yeah,
like a
it's
good
about
idea
distance
regardless.
and it's distance and the thickness of the metal and the quality of the metal.
There's
Don't
actually
do a gunfight.
And the quality of the round, angle of the round.
But there are actually historical examples of layered linen being stronger than metal. Historically speaking. Anyway, I'll stop being a history nerd now and go back to being quiet.
Yeah, let's go.
So, do you want me to try to come up with? I could see what I could come up with. How soon do you need this?
As soon as possible. I think the wagon idea is the best one here.
Okay.
I will get in contact with the town marshal and get back to you.
All right. Well, you find out, and if you come back and I'm not here, just come looking for me. I'll be over at the Rattler's Nest. There's a handful of card games tonight, but if you figure out that you want to do this, I'll come back and I can work this out if you need it quick, especially if it's the marshal needs this too.
And I go to the. I know the town marshal went to the doctor.
So the marshal probably went back to his office. Actually, when
Okay.
I will say that when everybody was sort of departing to go their separate directions, Marshal Otis and George Martin were still sort of bickering back and forth as they headed back to Otis's office.
Yeah, I go to the town marshal Otis and ask about the wagon.
All right, so as you heading for the office, back in the doctor's office, Dr. Peaster has settled Parker on a sort of makeshift kind of gurney because he's now out of beds. His 3 beds are full. So he kind of settles him in. He puts some salve on the wound on his head and then sort of puts a cool damp cloth over his forehead, and it moves on to go check on Jerry Hill and begins sort of removing, like his shirt and things like that, cutting it off if he has to get to like the wounds and things. And he sort of gets like a clean basin of water, some clean rags and some soap and things, and he sort of starts cleaning the wounds while you're all there. So you all are left with Henry Potts, the school teacher, kind of milling about. What are you all doing?
Is this where the bank prisoner is?
Yes, he is in fact in the third bed. He's been sort of lying there quietly, so it's hard to, you haven't seen him do a lot of moving about, so you're not sure if he's conscious or not, but he is in that other bed across the way where the doctor was looking at him when you all got here.
Can I walk up to the kid? I'm gonna get up off the bed and walk over to him. Go. I'm sorry, I've probably crippled you for life. But we have some questions, if you're awake.
He opens like one eye, looking up at you. You shot me.
And I could have killed you.
Maybe it would have been better if you did.
But I don't just go and kill criminals. I'm not a vigilante.
What do you want?
We want some more information about the fort that everybody is holding up in. You're with Smythe, aren't you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Trying to decide how dark I want to go. Because part of me just wants to reach down and grab his knee.
Meanwhile,
I think I'm gonna just give in, and I think I'm going to go reach down and grab his knee.
You can roll an intimidate check with an advantage die. What are Sister Michal and Samuel doing while Marshal walks over and grabs him by his knee?
I was sort of going to slowly go over, and now the Marshal is doing a torture, so I'm gonna move faster.
All right, so the Marshal grabs hold of his knee and squeezes, and he sits up. And the doctor whips around like, what? What are you
Having
doing?
a hard success, by the way.
I saw that, yeah. So the young man whose name is Billy Stevens is like, he sort of sits up in bed and kind of cries out and grabs
Tell
his
me
other
everything
wound.
you know.
He flops back on the pillow, breathing. Breaks out in a
I've like,
sweat.
as soon as he sat up in like pain, I let go. I'll do it again.
So he's for a moment, like a couple of beats, he's like breathing that heavy, like pained breathing. You see sweat kind of break out on his forehead.
No, you absolutely will not.
I could just take the gun out.
Are you sure that after all the time that you've spent criticizing George Martin, you want to become him?
That is why I just reached down to his knee.
Don't do that again. I can't tell you stuff. They'll kill me if they find out I talked. They'll kill me for sure. You don't understand.
Don't make me wrap your knuckles, Marshal.
She gives you a glance like, and probably breathes in deeply and rolls her eyes at you.
And I'm going to turn to...
Let me put it this way. If Martin had his way, he would have already hung you. So I'm your best chance at survival. Albeit in jail, but survival.
He looks at Sister Michal. Don't let her hurt me again. Don't let her hurt me again. Please, sister.
You don't need to worry. I'm not going to let her hurt you.
Okay.
There. You must be very frightened. This is a very difficult time, and it must feel as though you've been abandoned by the only people that you trusted.
I mean, I don't think they must have gotten chased out too quick, and they wouldn't have left me like that. Like, they wouldn't have left me behind. They said they were coming back for me. It just must have gotten too dangerous to stay, right?
I'm afraid they lied to you. The sort of men who have done the things that I've seen them do, they don't care about you at all. They don't care about your well-being. They don't care if you hang here or rot in a jail cell. But I care. I want to help you. I want to make sure that the people of this town look upon you favorably, and that the Lord our God looks upon you favorably. And the only way that we can do that is for you to unburden your soul with the information that you have. Please.
How are they going to look on me favorably? I shot that woman. I killed that woman.
You were confused. You were misled. All too often sheep wander from the flock and find themselves in the clutches of wolves. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't rejoice when they come home.
I mean, the Reverend said that what we were doing was important, and that I was doing a service, and that God would smile down on me for helping him accomplish his work here on Earth. I just thought I was doing right by the Reverend.
I know you did. But the Reverend misled you, as he misled us all. Often, the devil can use the face of an angel to mislead us. But God is not cruelty.
Can I roll psychology? I'd like to read the kid, other than...
Honestly, I'd love to do that as well.
I will let you both do that. And also, sister, do you want to roll like a charm or a what's it called? Persuasion roll to convince him to talk to?
I think I'm just too pissed off at him for hurting Julia. Because in my head, that's what...
That's valid. I am going to roll a persuade, if that's okay.
Okay.
Boop. Heck.
Alright, so, your read on this kid. So, he is all of about 18 or 19 years old. He's a young man. Not quite as young as your friend Baxter, but a young man who... I mean, he looks...
Nobody's as young as Baxter.
Nobody is as young as Baxter. Well, except maybe the mayor's daughter, who's a little bit younger. But she is currently somewhere off having been kidnapped. But, he seems like this group that he was with, you know, like he's sort of that, like, clingy, he's doesn't have, like, a place in the world, and he thought that maybe he had found, like, his place, and whoever this Reverend Smythe is really had, you know, has convinced him of the important work that he's doing and his role in it. So he seems completely sort of distraught to have been abandoned at this point. Like, it's almost enough to sort of break his spirit as far as he believed in this, and now he is sort of questioning his place in things if he could be left behind so easily. Like, you get the feeling that on some level he knows that they left him for dead, but he's doing that thing where he's trying to convince himself that that can't be true, that it has to be a mistake, that they had no choice.
Should I risk finally using my advantage to try and get a better persuasion result?
a good question.
You do have luck, too.
Yes, you also can spend luck, but you have... Let's see.
Yeah, I'd have to spend a lot of luck.
Yep. So you do have an automatic success that you could burn if you wanted to definitely succeed at this. Well, I have an advantage, and also Samuel has a automatic success still.
I think... No. I think the Marshal, still seeing red, probably goes back and sits by Julia. Stays out of the way.
Yeah, when you do, she sort of takes your hand again and she says, "You've got to calm down. Don't do those sort of things. He's just misunderstood."
And he has information we need.
I'm going to use the automatic success.
Okay. So what do you say to him? Do you say anything more to like convince him to bring him around in this?
Shit, what is this kid's name?
His name is Billy Stevens.
Billy. It's time for you to come home. It's time for you to come back to the people that truly appreciate you and want you to be happy.
Can I really do that? I mean, I took an innocent life yesterday. Or today. What today is it? I don't even know. So much happened.
I know you're troubled. But God is redemption.
What would I need to do to make amends for what I done?
You would need to tell us everything that you know about the fort, about the Reverend.
Well, the Reverend's a very intense man. He doesn't believe in like pastor here in town's like Christian God. He preaches about that there is a more powerful God and that God is coming and is going to make its presence known like physically here. But there are steps that the Reverend has to take to make sure that happens. So he said that we had to help him. The bank robbery was it was sort of a ploy, a distraction, he called it. We really were here for that little girl. He needs her for something to do with this. And so we had to find a way to get her away from her family and separate them and then get her out of town. So a couple of our boys went and stole some cattle overnight and got the Marshal out of town. And then there was a few of us who sort of were scoping out the bank. And then when we got a signal from the Reverend, we started the whole bank robbery, and the Reverend came in. And meanwhile, one of our other fellows, he's kind of friendly with the young lady. Their families know each other pretty well. So he went and just asked her if she wanted to take a nice happy stroll through town this morning. And he was supposed to bring her by outside the bank when we were getting ready to head out. And he did. And the Reverend grabbed her and got on horses, and they told me that they were going to be right back for me, that I had to keep people in the bank quiet for a little bit longer, and then they headed out. And Shallot was supposed to come back and get me, and then I heard him yelling in the street, riding up and down the street, screaming about the bank being robbed and letting everybody know what was happening. And I went to make a run for it out the front door, but there were people coming up the road, and I went to run out the back door, and there were people in the alley, and so I shot at them, and I ran back in the bank, and it just all went to hell. So fast. I didn't know what to
Did
do.
we know that already that Charlotte was in on this?
No, you probably didn't know that yet.
We knew that it was the bank robbery was a setup to get everyone distracted.
I have Smythe, another man, and the boy in my notes. I'm assuming that's what it meant. I have really vague notes about this.
So he will tell you specifically. He says, Arizona Hawkins, he made sure the cattle got stolen, and then he met me in town first thing in the morning, and we sort of lounged about, kind of stayed out of sight as much as possible until just before 11 a.m., and then we went in the bank and we're sort of just milling about like we had some business there. And then Manson Shallot, he's the one that went and got little Margaret, and he took her for a stroll because, you know, I think she fancies him. He's kind of a looker. And so he took her for a stroll. Meanwhile, the Reverend, he showed up at the bank, and you know, he came in and he smacked that big book of his down on the counter, and then slapped a riding crop across the top of it, and he was all, "You're not going to enter paradise until I save your souls," and all that good stuff. And then he wanted all their money, and he told them they wouldn't need it for resurrection. So, and then we robbed the bank. And then once Shallot showed up with Margaret, they took off with her. Boston was sort of playing lookout, and they headed off on horseback north of town. And Shallot was supposed to come back around back with my horse, and we were supposed to head out and go in the opposite direction as a distraction, but like I told you, he never came back.
And I just want to make sure I have this correct. Boston was the guy we had the encounter with at the bar.
Yep, Boston was the sharpshooter. Manson Shallot is the son of the town's founder.
Yeah, the silver and cattle guy.
Yep. So he's his son. And Margaret is Mayor Rupert Dawson's daughter. And Arizona Hawkins, you haven't heard of him before.
I swore we heard that name, but maybe not.
You might have.
I'm thinking of Arkansas.
Yeah, probably Arkansas.
Arkansas was the one that got shot by Boston in the bar.
Yeah.
People like to be called by city names and state names in this, huh?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Very strange.
Like they're trying to hide from something or something.
Mm.
It's like they're outlaws.
Possible. It's very possible.
Maybe so.
So he tells you like the kind of how the bank robbery unfolded and how Margaret was brought in and they tied up her hands and put her on a horse and rode her out of town. And that's the last he saw of them. And then everything went up in smoke for him, and now he's laid up here in the doctor's office.
So how the banker's daughter is like, or the mayor's daughter is like, Baxter's age, right?
Yeah, she's about 14.
Okay, for some reason I had an image in my head of her being much, much younger.
She seemed, when you saw her, because you all saw her at the boarding house, he brought her in, and she was all dolled up, dressed up, and she just seemed younger as far as, like, her whole kind of just sort of personality and innocence. Like, she's kind of led a very comfortable, sheltered life, so she kind of doesn't have to take things very seriously, and she was very just sort of, like, playing at dress up and being well-to-do with her on her dad's arm. Like, just that's her life. Like, she's never had any sort of, as far as you could tell from her demeanor, there's never been anything that's made her struggle or have to grow up. So
gotcha. And all throughout the exposition, I'm going to be just nodding and smiling encouragingly and saying, "You're doing very well, Billy."
As far as the fort goes, it's a few days north up in the mountains. It's kind of it's a pretty secluded spot. I think that's why the Reverend likes it, because you don't get a lot of people passing by or having to deal with any of the locals out there. They a lot of times for supplies and things, the Reverend will trade with the little Navajo village that's sort of off the beaten path on the way out there to the fort. And as he says this, you notice Henry Potts kind of like lean in, like he suddenly is brought to more attention at the mention of this. And so sometimes, we'll trade with them and things like that. So the Reverend's been real nice about like leaving them alone as long as they're helpful. Like
Something out of place. I think she froze.
Oh, there we go.
Am I there? Hi.
Yeah, first for a second, but
Technology. So he says the fort sort of it's set against a cliff wall, so the cliff kind of rises up behind it. It kind of sits in this little rocky crater, and it's got old barracks and a couple of smaller side rooms. There was a rock slide at some point before we sort of took it over, and one end of the building is kind of collapsed. So if you're careful, you can go up the collapsed stone and get onto the roof of the existing buildings, but you gotta be careful because they're in real disrepair. You don't want to go through the top of one. Could get seriously injured. But I mean, it's a pretty good, solid location, just defense-wise and things like that. I don't know what else can I tell you?
and Samuel asked Mr. Potts if there was anything. What was amiss?
Oh, Henry sort of like, oh no, I just was curious about the small village. If this Reverend will hurt people for what he wants, I'm just concerned about the locals and their well-being, being in such proximity to this man and his crew of outlaws. Dangerous.
Hopefully we can take care of that.
I will because Samuel asked, I will let you roll a psychology roll versus Mr. Potts.
Ouch.
Let's see. You are... Okay, Yep, that's a feasible answer from a young man who seems to have the concern about, individuals and things. He seems like a guy that's concerned about his fellow people.
And have you dealt with these natives before? Or you have any dealings with them?
Oh, myself, well, no, I haven't really had anything to do with them, no.
Okay, then. I'll let the other conversation continue.
I will say, Marshal, you can also roll a psychology roll because you were kind of not involved in either conversation, but can be paying attention to both. Ah.
Finally!
Marshal,
Ta-da!
when he tells Samuel that he has never been there, he doesn't really know anything about it, you can definitely...
And that was a lie.
Yeah, you can see by his body language and just the overall like change in his demeanor hearing about the village brought up. It seems that you think he is actually familiar with it, and you think that he may be concerned about it more so than he's trying to let on. Like maybe not because he's just concerned for people being hurt, but he's concerned for specific people being hurt.
Is there something you care to tell us, Mr. Potts? Because you have this very obvious tell when you're not telling the entire truth. I know you care about the town.
Okay, so I've been there. Let's just say that they're very nice. They're quite, friendly and peaceful and kind and well, my concern is, well, there's someone in particular that I'm fond of that I'm worried for now, knowing that these monsters, especially after what they did at that farm, are anywhere near that village.
Care to elaborate some more?
Let's just say I have someone that I care very much about who lives in the village, and I don't want her hurt.
Okay.
Well, for future... Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
He looks from Samuel to Marshall and back to Samuel. What?
Well, if you really do care about this person, then you'll not withhold any other information from us in the future.
I'm sorry. We made a promise to keep it very private between the two of us and try not to let too many people in on our friendship. But her people have been very kind to me and welcoming to me when I visit, and I'm just nervous about what might have happened to them if these people are out there with them.
Do you think if we told them or somehow communicated to them that there were bad people in the fort, they would help us?
I mean, they would probably be willing to help, especially if they knew what this Reverend and his people did to those farmers. I mean, I don't think that they would be okay with them being anywhere near their village. I'm sure we could convince them to help us.
We need more people on our side.
And we have a way in now. Seems to be more in our favor.
Yes, I'm glad we came back.
Meanwhile, we switch back to Baxter, who has strolled through the streets. Baxter, you pass the general store where you see Ethel. She's on the porch talking to the newsman that you have met on previous days. Actually, this morning, I would say. And she's going on and on about how her husband has gone off to bring these ne'er-do-wells to justice. And she always knew that her husband had it in him to be brave and to take care of their city and her home. And she can't wait for him to come back. And so everyone can see what she's always seen in Mr. Parker. And as the newsman tries to sort of pull himself away, he kind of is sort of backing up to try to get away. Ethel sort of waddles forward and puts a big old arm around his shoulder and kind of drags him back into the store, going on and on and on about how she is the inspiration behind Mr. Parker's sudden change and sudden push toward heroism, and let her tell you all about the story for a special piece on the Parker family and the general store. And the door slams shut to the general store. But you make your way up the street heading to Marshal Otis's office. And you find Marshal Otis sort of watching as George Martin and his two ranch hands are riding off in the direction of George Martin's ranch. And Marshal Otis looks over and sees you coming up the street. And he gives you a little nod and greeting, and he says, "Baxter, right?"
Yes.
I just sent Martin and his men off to see if we can get some, they can bring some more men back, to take into the mountains with us.
Yeah, that is good. Would you be able to get us some sort of wagon closed off?
Yeah, I should be able to. I can check with delivery. I'm sure they've got something that we can take.
Yeah, I talked to the blacksmith that he could be able to give it fortified properly.
Ah, McCready. McCready's a talented fellow. He's yeah. If anybody could do that, I'm sure he can come up with something useful. Smart man. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Don't sit at the card table with him if you know what's good for you, Baxter. He looks at you and he's like, I see that look, son. I'm telling you, you might want to, I mean, I don't know your skill level. I'll just tell you straight off that Samuel McCready has taken more than a few dollars from myself and others. And I tell you, I know a lot of men cheat at the table, but Samuel's just good. Straight up good.
Oh yeah, and have you been able to get hold of any dynamite or anything?
I'm gonna head over to the general store first of all to let Ethel know that Mr. Parker is all right, and he'll be up and about soon. I'm sure the knock on the head will be all right. But also to check in and see if they have anything in stock. My thought is if they don't, perhaps on our way back into the mountains, if we can make a quick stop at a couple of the prospecting sites that are close to the main road, maybe we can get them to part with some of their existing stash of dynamite. Hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, I can talk to Parker's wife.
Are you sure you want to take that on, Baxter?
I'm sure I can handle it.
And
Well,
that's how Baxter died.
Yeah, well, if morning comes and I don't see you, I will come looking at the Parker's residence to make sure that you have not been locked in a trunk or something for upsetting Ethel. Let me just give you a word of warning. Pretty much everything upsets Ethel. So just be careful, my friend.
And I will go to the general store, and I have actually questions for her.
All right. So you head out and you walk down to the general store. you see you see the poor man Harris Clemens. He's like now seated in the chair behind the counter. You can see through the front windows. He's sort of seated in the chair behind the counter, and he has his notepad out and he's writing while Ethel has put herself physically between him and the exit from behind the counter. So he can't physically move without moving her or making a run for it over the top of the counter. And he just has this frazzled look and his eyes keep flicking toward the front door and back to his notepad. And he kind of takes his handkerchief out of his pocket and wipes his brow, puts it back. And as you open the door, a little bell inside rings, and Ethel stops mid-sentence and turns around and says, "Hello, can I help you?"
Yes, hello.
Hi.
We have returned. And
You have returned. Oh my goodness! You were one of the ones who went out with... Oh my god! Whoa, where's my husband? Oh my god! Where's my... Is he all right?
He's fine.
Oh.
He did amazing. You should have seen it.
Oh, he's all right? Oh my goodness! I thought the worst. Where's he? Where's my dear? Oh, where's my sweetheart?
He's on a watch at Marshal's office, making sure that those bad guys won't escape.
Oh my God, he's standing guard. Hey Baxter, you want to roll me a fast talk?
Yep. Fast talk. I'm actually. I think I'm.
God can see your lies, and so can Ethel.
93.
That's the opposite of good.
She raises an eyebrow and she says, I don't know you very well, but I don't know that Jake would
Wait, that's not a lie. He did stand guard. He was standing guard to make sure we didn't get rode up on.
But Baxter's telling her that he's
Yeah,
standing
but
guard at
not
these.
right now.
He's currently standing guard.
Oh.
Currently being guarded.
That's why you gotta tell plausible lies.
She kind of gives you a look, and then she like starts to get that worried look on her face again. She's like, "Oh, I think that you're just blowing smoke up my ass. I think that something foul has befallen my dear Jake, my Jakey Poo. Oh my goodness, he's not with you. He got killed, didn't he? He got killed."
No. Okay, you got me. But he's fine.
What?
I tell you the truth. He hit his head on a way, when fell off his horse, and he's at the doctor's office.
Wait, how did he fall off his horse? She suddenly gets this like kind of angry look on her face.
Well, he
Oh man, you're in trouble.
Yeah. He was I'm sorry, I need to think. Well,
She starts moving toward Baxter.
She's gonna grind your bones to make her bread.
Oh, and Baxter, while she's moving towards you, just roll me a spot hidden check, please.
Oh shit.
It's probably just Clemens escaping.
Yeah, so Baxter, she is stomping towards you, intently staring at you, tears streaming down her face. She's between, you can tell she's probably on the verge of freaking out, either panic or just angry. And you do notice out of the corner of your eye, Clements just wall hugging, moving slowly, like between a couple of racks of guns. He ducks down, and then he kind of is like making his way around, heading for the door, while Ethel's full attention is on you.
actually, I have to think. I need to actually come up with something good. Yeah, he was like, we had a conversation, and we were debating whether we were going to hand one of the corporates of the bank heist. And the final vote fell upon him.
Uh-huh. She now is like looming over Baxter, looking down intently at you.
And he couldn't choose. And he was too much stretch for him.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that he passed out because he got asked to make a vote about something?
Mm.
And he couldn't bring himself to just make a decision?
Mm.
Baxter, you're not helping.
She, like, puts a hand, like, on your chest and sort of pushes you out of the way and goes storming toward the front door, where Clements has just slowly started to open it and is trying not to ring the bell. He turns and sees her coming and goes, "Oh!" He opens the door and steps back. "Let me get that for you, Ethel." And she goes out the front door, pulling up her skirt, storming down the front steps, heading in the direction of the marshal's office because you didn't tell her specifically she was at the doctor's office. And she storms away, and Clemens looks back at you and is like, "Whew. You're lucky she's mad at him and not you." Tips his little hat. He's like, I'm gonna go. The marshal's, well, I'm gonna head that way, but I'm gonna wait till she's done. If there's anything left of the marshal, then I'll talk to him. And he sort of tips his hat again and runs out the front door. The little bell chimes as the door shuts behind him. And Baxter, you're kind of left standing in the middle of the general store by yourself.
Just steal everything.
I'm actually going to.
Oh wait, that's Joanna, because the sister would
I'm
be pissed.
I'm going to take a look at the logs and see the inventory they have. Do they have anything interesting like that could help?
I'm going to have you roll. I need you to roll me. Give me either you can either roll an education roll, an intelligence roll, or an accounting roll, as you sort of try to figure out what they have in stock from Ethel's books.
I think education is my highest.
Okay. All right, so you try to make sense of Ethel's cataloging in her books, and you can see where Jake has tried to sort of make these a little more easy to understand, but Ethel just sort of does her own shorthand, and it's hard to tell specifically what's in stock based on the ledger. So you probably would have to maybe go through the store and the storeroom to figure it out.
I'm just going to go to the rattlesnake.
Okay. So I think with that, while the rest of you are at the doctor's office, getting information from Billy, and Baxter is running about town, collecting his own information, I think with that we will close out tonight's session. As you have a little more information about your what you're facing up at the fort, and also maybe some new allies that you may be able to bring over to help you on your way there. So yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. I think we learned a lot tonight.
Yeah.
Don't mess with Ethel is probably tonight's biggest lesson. So why don't we'll go around and do some everybody can do some plugs, and we will be heading out. So why don't we start with we'll go backward. We'll start with Joanna.
Hi. You can follow me on Twitter at ThriftBirds. I don't really have too much in the way of active projects being released at the moment. But if you look on YouTube for a show called The Alaska Triangle, and the specific episode Haunted and Kushtaka Curse, you can see some of my acting.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
I like that. And how about Taru? What do you got going on?
Yeah, right now I am foreseeable hold on all projects because I'm on an internet of this one and waiting currently an actual modem.
Ah.
I cannot do much of anything right now, but I have Twitch, I have Twitter, and so on. everywhere and anarchy. But yeah.
Excellent. And how about Ray?
Yeah, hi. I should be back to streaming this week, if not, working away at a successful Kickstarter. Other than that, that's about it.
Hey, good
Maybe
things.
I'll sleep sometime soon.
Oh,
Nah, you
sleep.
could sleep in your bed.
Sounds
You don't have to
fake.
live once. We
Yeah,
learned
I
that
said
lesson.
maybe.
Can't relate.
I said maybe.
It's a big maybe. And Theater Nerd, yeah, you made it.
Hi.
Woo!
Yeah, we're at the very end of energy right now. That's what I get for like not planning an entire 3-hour session of Blades in the Dark and went in blind. Yeah, I got that next week again. I'm gonna try to do a little bit more prep, but Blades in the Dark is a system that lends itself nicely to no prep, or little prep. But there are some stuff I have to prep and do background things because my players decided to try to take on a tier 2 gang. So that would mean something to basically they were set up to fail as soon as they decided this was their plan, to put it in layman's terms.
That's what we players do, though.
I know, I'm good at it, so I understand. Or I come up with crazy plans. But yeah, we have that next week. I have to do the prep work. I have to do is making handouts. It's going to be a lot of boring copy and paste, but I'm really excited for that game. Wednesday, you can find me over on channel Other Dark Doc for the end of our first arc, where I think something's going to be revealed for my character. Otherwise, it'll be a scheme for future. And I'm really excited because things are crazy. And my character's mom is batshit insane. And that is not a hyperbole at all. She's also a super villain. But, whatever. Yeah.
It's
Find
like
me
that
on
sometimes.
Twitter. I'm everywhere at the same username. That might be on the screen. I don't know. I'm too tired right now.
I did make a little bot command so that it can easily post everyone's Twitter. So at the end of the session, they pop
Yay.
up.
Good job, bot.
Follow the thing and the link in the chat thing.
I'm learning how to do things with this thing, so yay!
Yay.
Um,
Thank you so much
easy.
for
You
running.
have to push a button and it does it. I'm kind of
Yeah.
jealous.
It's just a command and it does it for me. Thank you. Yeah, thank you all. This is fun. I'm excited to see how this moves forward as you're planning to go back after these dastardly fellows in the mountains.
These fiends.
Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what Ethel does next time. Love Ethel. Ethel's great.
I feel like there might have to be a new Marshal in town. That's all I'm imagining right now.
And I'm Jeanette. Hi, I'm your keeper for Cthulhu and the Dungeon Master for other games. But you can find us here every other Tuesday evening. Monday. Today's Monday. Wow.
Today's Monday.
This is my week. It's a Monday. So this game every other Monday evening. Wow, I'm doing good too. At 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on the off week, on every other Sunday, we have a D&D adventure at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Skull and Shackles. Piracy on the High Seas. And every other Tuesday, so next Tuesday, we have another Call of Cthulhu adventure set in the Old West. Shadows over Stillwater. So those are some games that we're playing here, and then you can find me on my friend Scotty Hood's channel playing some D&D myself on Saturday afternoons and every other Saturday evening. So those are the things I'm up to right now, and you can follow me on Twitter if you want to know more. But otherwise, I think that we're going to say goodnight for this evening and let everyone get some sleep, hopefully. Because everybody needs some sleep at some point, maybe.
Yeah.
Some point, maybe.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Well, everyone take care. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see everybody soon. Have a great week.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.